Ladies and gentlemen, really there are two areas I want to share with you. Actually, two sad areas. Two sad points. One was the terrible events, that despicable act of anti-Semitism, of the murder of 11 innocent victims in the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh. The second was that during that very same week, my family lost, my wife and myself lost a grandchild, Ariel Leib. This child was only 5 months old, and it all happened at the same time. As far as Pittsburgh is concerned, this act of murder, and here in the United States, it was unbelievable. I mean, here in the United States is founded on the freedom of religion. And I must say that we're very grateful for the outpouring of support and friendship the Jewish community received, that I received from people of all walks of life. We immediately held a memorial vigil on the steps of our synagogue with every member of the clergy, and hundreds of people came and showed their respect. And we thank the first responders, both here on Long Island and more so in Pittsburgh, for standing by and saving lives. And we responded by increasing our acts of goodness and kindness, because we're not going to fall into any self-pity or weakness, but we're going to stand together strong. And we appreciate the freedom that we enjoy here. God bless America. On a personal front, the loss of our grandchild, many people asked us, how are you handling this? I must tell you that we receive strength from our own children, Schneer and Sarah Esther, parents of dear Ariel Leib. And they stood so strong during this very trying period, and still stand strong. And we received, encouragement from them in the way they approach life. I'm sharing this with you because many people asked us, before little Ari passed away, thousands of people did good deeds, gave charity, baked challah, put on tefillin, with the hope that the Almighty God would bless him with a speedy recovery. And the question we were asked philosophically, now that he passed away, what happens to all those good deeds? Was it a waste? What happened? And we appreciated the opportunity to share with everybody. Number one, little Ari went up to heaven carrying all the good deeds that everybody did, and kind of was saying to the Almighty God, look at the wonderful men and women and children, literally all over the world, who did good deeds. That's a blessing. A second idea is that every time we do something good for someone, it actually helps put something away in our own rainy day account. So all those good deeds everybody did is put away in helping everyone who participated, and we sincerely thank you for that. There's a third answer, that when a person passes away, they can either pass away like cotton wool being torn away from the bark of a tree with friction, with toughness, or a person can pass away like a hair being taken out of milk, seamless, quiet. So all the good deeds we do for the person who is ill and pray and do good deeds for helps the person, as God wishes, if they are to pass away, they pass away in a calm way, in a peaceful way. I shared all of this with you, dear friends, during this Chanukah Telethon, to remind ourselves to appreciate what we have every moment that we're alive, and know that all the good deeds that we do are not for naught. They remain eternal, both for the person we're doing it for and for ourselves. And therefore, I thank you. Thank you for this opportunity on the night of the Chanukah Telethon. Many people want to know what I do, how do I spend my day? Of course, the day has a structure to it, believe it or not. I begin in the morning with prayers. I try to learn every day. And I do actually have a schedule, but it very rarely works out, because typically there's office administration, different programs that I have to visit, jail visitations, emergencies at the hospital at NYU Winthrop, answering people's calls for help, planning programs, advising people. So I try to go to work each morning filled with enthusiasm and excitement and looking forward to that day. And the day can be filled with happy events, with sad events, all in the same hour practically. But I thank the Almighty God for the opportunity that I have. It's with the help of my dear wife, Bluma. Together, we are shluchim, we are emissaries of the Chabad Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, since 1978. And we're just one of the members of more than 5,000 emissaries around the world. But it was the Rebbe who continues to inspire us that we have a mission in life, a focus in life, and that inspires me. Even at moments when things may be tough, I always remember, we both remember why we're on this world, and we have so much to accomplish for the community. I always divide my focus on what I have to do on a daily basis, running the synagogue, the programs, fundraising for the operating budget, our synagogue operation and programs. At the same time, this year in particular, we are urgently updating the security of all of our institutions, which is sadly the way we are living today. Even as I balance what I need to do on a daily basis, I always look down the line at what more we can accomplish. On the practical level, we're going crazy trying to raise money to put an elevator in our synagogue. We're working very hard to put together, to create a young professionals network so that young men and women in their 20s and 30s have an appropriate gathering to network and learn from each other. Also, we've never given up on our original intention that every single person, every single child should receive a Jewish education. And any man or woman who's facing opioid overdosing or other addictions should have a home away from home through the many programs that we provide. If I had a choice, I would sit and learn and teach all day and do webcasting and interacting with the community and have a Chanukah Telethon every single day. I'd love to do that and just teach, but I really enjoy helping a family, both in times of joys and in crisis. Fundraising is a tough one for me, and I hope tonight during the Chanukah Telethon, through your support, you'll make my job easier. Some 27 years ago, as I sat in my office, I said, we've got to be able to reach out to the community. So we decided we'd put on a Chanukah Telethon. And I must tell you, it's a great responsibility going public. And I pray that everything goes well and people watch and listen and support. And therefore, I'd love to be able to go to every single person's home and ask them personally for support. But through the Chanukah Telethon, it makes it easier for people to sit at home, make themselves a cup of tea, and make it easier for us through your support. Despite the darkness around us, the difficult times that we're facing as a country, as a community, look around and realize there are many blessings we all have. Supporting us creates a legacy for the future. You become a partner in our worthy cause. Please remember those who have fallen between the cracks, who don't have all the blessings that we all have, and many people who go over the edge. May I suggest that when you're preparing a will or your estate, to include us, to include Chabad Mineola, because by doing that you'll be leaving a living legacy for Jewish life into the future. That's why we're here. during a Chanukah Telethon. I love joy, I love vitality, and creative ways to bring across a message. So I've actually rappelled over the edge of a building to remind people not that everybody has people waiting for them. Many people fall over the edge and there's no one there. So I actually came down the side of the tallest building at the Nassau County College, Nassau Community College. I love the opportunity to ride the Harley-Davidson motorcycle and argue with the driver and say, come on, let's put on tefillin. We've actually had a mystery bus tour that took us from a homeless shelter to a jail, to helping people and then having a wonderful lunch. Thinking back, I remember going on an air balloon. We went all the way upstate on a very beautiful morning. We went up on an air balloon ride. We put on tefillin with the guy at 1,000 feet. I also remember really with great joy how over the course of many years we began the children's hands-on matzah factory, and through that we were able to reach out over the many years teaching children how to make shmura hand-baked matzah, more than 250,000 children. And this children hands-on matzah bakery, which began thanks to the generosity of Mel Whites and Sylvia Whites of Food Town fame, this has become replicated throughout the world. So I enjoy what I do. I love seeing people happy about their Judaism and their Yiddishkeit and bringing smiles to people's faces with my daredevil ideas. I've never felt I've been a failure on anything. I've had many challenges. I tell you, one of the biggest challenges I'm facing these days is the increase of cremations and trying to explain to a family how it's against Jewish law to do that. And I sometimes bring in my own personal life where my grandfather, who I'm named after, actually was cremated by the Nazis in Auschwitz so many years ago. So when I'm not successful to stop that cremation, even if I'm offering them the money, ways to save money or to do other things to stop that, I feel very down about that. I also feel very much challenged if I can't help someone because I don't have the money. I feel very down when someone is coming out of a jail or a situation and they're homeless and there's nowhere to turn to help them to find a place. That really gets me down. Other aspects, sometimes I feel after all these many years, I get kind of upset a little bit when people make judgmental calls about others, and because we really are, to be blunt, dear friends, when God created the world, He made many animals, many birds, many trees, many rivers, many oceans. But when He came to making mankind, it was one man, Adam and Eve. How come? How come everything else was made in so many, and yet comes to human beings, it was one man and one lady, Adam and Eve? The answer is that all of us must remember there's no pecking order, one person better than the other. We all go back to one Adam and one Eve. Obviously, we all have our diversity, we all have our approaches in life, and that's our strengths. Our differences are to be used to complement each other and to learn from each other. But when we find ways to divide and to aggravate, that I feel that's a kind of a failure on my behalf, because I've tried to live a life to excel in being tolerant and appreciative. And I must tell you, my father, who went through the Nazi concentration camps, 3 of them. First he was chosen by Dr. Mengele at Auschwitz, then he ended up in Nordhausen and Dora. He came away and never left me with any hatred against anybody. He had every good reason to live a life filled with hatred. He didn't. He taught me to be tolerant and appreciate every person. And therefore, I'd like to hear and to be part of a people, of a person, of a group or a community where we are tolerant of each other and respect each other with dignity. We all have our differences, we all have our faiths, but at the end of the day, we must remember we're all on a mission, each one of us, and we can all make a difference. When you meet families who are the bar or bat mitzvah in our synagogues, you meet families who come to our high holiday services, and I meet the couples who I was honored to officiate their marriages, and you see the results, and you see the harmony and the enthusiasm, and people becoming more connected to their Jewish roots, and people becoming more understanding and caring of each other and more generous of each other. That elevates and know that we're accomplishing something here. I tell you, I receive a kind of personal pleasure. I don't really think about this too much, but when people come back to us and say, you know, your synagogue was so welcoming of me. I may not have been dressed, may not know as much, but I came out feeling good. I feel good about that. Or I meet young men and women who receive from us Goodie Awards for Long Island teenagers over the many years, and they're now taking their positions in society, and they remember how men and women and members of the government, members of business came together to make them feel good on that day. That gives you pleasure. You know that you're doing something that impacts people's lives. The Children's Matzah Factory, for nearly a quarter of a century, we had this special Matzah factory, and it brought hands-on Yiddishkeit for so many whose children and grandchildren look back at that. These are high moments of knowing that you've impacted people's lives, but I didn't do it myself. It's a partnership. That's what excites me. I'm not doing this by myself. I'm a partner. You are a partner with us, because through your support over the many years, I still remember the first 10 people who came out of who trusted us in helping donate us, all the way to donate generosity in a very nice way to us, all the way in the beginning. And that keeps me going, and all the wonderful support and the many, many people who go out of their way to make life easier by partnering with us and being with us every step of the way. You want some advice? Here's some unsolicited advice. Try to be a thermostat, not just a thermometer, which means to say, every day that we're alive, make a difference. Make every day count. Look for the divine presence, the divine hand of the Almighty God in every aspect of one's life. And it's something that I always try to live by. Think big. Dear friends, don't fall into mediocrity. It doesn't matter how old you are, what it says on the passport. Always plan big. Go for the gold. Tonight, during the Chanukah Telethon, through your support, that allows us all to think big and to accomplish great things. I come to you for these few hours with the Chanukah Telethon to plead with you and to encourage you to please support this important holy work. Call in your pledge. Together we can make a world of a difference through increasing our acts of goodness and kindness. Please, let's strengthen our faith and trust in the Almighty God. Keep going, keep your chin high, and through your help, we will be able to help and continue to bring hope and happiness to so many. L'chaim, happy Chanukah.